Here at 7:30 p.m. It is a special meeting for one purpose only, and that's to call the town meeting. There's no public comment on this meeting, and it should be relatively quick. So that is our first and only item on the agenda, is the call of the town meeting. I had received back from the attorney the language, approval for the language for the call for the meeting. I did forward this to the selectmen late today. I just received it just at the end of the day, actually. So really the only thing for us to discuss, well, we can certainly discuss all the things such as the dates and the times and all that. But what I put on the call meeting for the meeting was a town meeting to be held next Monday at 6 p.m. Both virtually and in person, if we choose to do that, with a referendum following the following Monday, which would be the 17th, with hours suggested of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The benefit of doing it relatively soon is the governor's orders do allow right now through the 20th for no excuse absentee ballots. So for anyone who still finds himself in that situation where they're just uncomfortable coming out to vote for any reason, they'd still be able to take advantage of the on this referendum. They would be able to get an absentee ballot and cast their vote in that manner. So kind of works out from a timing perspective. So so long as there's no question about that, I think the one thing for us to discuss is what do we want to do as far as the question? Do we want to move it forward as one or two questions? So I'd open it up for discussion. Go ahead, Bob.
So Mike, I've gone back and forth on this in previous years. I agree with the reason to go down one question previously a few years ago. On this particular year, it was a strange budget year because the Board of Ed went to the Board of Finance and they basically were allowed to come up with their own budget, and the Board of Finance really didn't do much to it. They kind of let it fly the way it was. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's fine. But the government budget that we came up with, the Board of Selectmen, we had to go back at it 2 or 3 times. The Board of Finance went at it quite a bit. So the two budgets were handled quite a bit differently by the Board of Finance. And because of that, I think this is a year I think we should go to a 2-question ballot, only because of the way that the budgets were created. I would love to, if they were combined and it failed, I'd be hard pressed to know where to go, because of the Board of Ed budget was really not changed much, and the Board of Selectmen budget or the government budget was changed quite a bit. The capital budget was changed quite a bit. So my recommendation would be, and I'd be willing to listen obviously to you and Nita, but my recommendation, because of this year and the way the budget was formulated, I think it's a 2-question budget.
Nita, what are your thoughts?
I actually agree with that, because I think, you know, you really want to know, as we go into this next period in time with the pandemic hopefully behind us, how the town is, what they're now thinking about, what they feel is going on. And I think you can get more out of it if we see how the education comes through versus how the other does. I think I would see it that way, honestly.
I guess my perspective is I'm you know, first of all, I don't really love the budget. I don't think any of us love the budget, given the beating that it took through the process. But I'm kind of afraid that if there was a failure, I don't think we're going to have a clue as to why, because I think there's good reason to fail this budget for the fact that it doesn't include enough in it. And I think that probably could be said for both budgets. Generally speaking, it's always been the tendency if a budget fails to go back and try to cut more, because you got to figure that's why it failed. But I don't know that there'd be truth to that this time. I don't think if there's a failure of these budgets, we're going to have an idea as to what happened, whether we separate them or put them together. But with that being said, I mean, I don't want to I'm not going to disagree with you guys, and you both have your opinion on it. And I don't feel strongly enough to argue about it, I think. Because I don't know that I don't think we're going to gain any information regardless. The only thing I don't like is that if we do put them together, if we do put them separately, and then one were to fail and the other to pass, we end up in a situation where we're going to have to go through this whole process and we don't have a budget still, which is the one reason I don't like separating the budgets, because it creates a 50% more of a shot that something like that is going to happen, that we're going to end up having to go through another referendum. And I don't want that to happen, especially now with this is the situation we're in and the timing, and it's costly. And so, but I don't know, I don't know what the right answer is. So I mean, we drafted the 2 calls. If you guys feel pretty strongly about having them separate, I just assume kind of move it forward in that way.
I would like to see it go forward in the way it is now, I think.
The 2 budgets.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I agree, Mike.
All right, then why don't we then what I'll do is, for the benefit of the record, I'll go ahead and I'm going to read the call, and then we'll just vote to move it forward. So, Town of North Stonington, Connecticut. Warning is hereby given to the electors and those entitled to vote at town meetings of the Town of North Stonington that the annual town budget meeting shall be held at the following location on the date and time indicated for the purposes of transacting business set forth below. Location: North Stonington Wheeler High School Gymatorium, 297 Norwich Westerly Road, and via Zoom, with a Zoom link listed, which will be publicized tomorrow. Webinar ID listed May 10th, 2021, 6 p.m., which is Monday. For the purpose of verifying registered voters, those wishing to attend the meeting online and vote online will need to pre-register through the link provided by noon on May 10th. Those who have the capability for online access are encouraged to attend virtually. In-person attendance will be available following COVID-19 guidelines. 2 questions. First one: shall the Town of North Stonington approve the estimates and recommendations of the Board of Finance with respect to the annual budget, including general government operating $5,178,341, redemption of debt $1,382,949, and capital $252,253 for fiscal year July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022, in the total amount of $6,813,543. Second question: shall the Town of North Stonington approve the estimates and recommendations of the Board of Finance with respect to the annual Board of Education budget for fiscal year July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022, in the amount of $14,371,465? Notice of referendum. Resolved, the Board of Selectmen, pursuant to its authority under Connecticut General Statute Section 7(7), hereby removes the questions to be considered at the May 10th, 2021 annual town meeting cited in the prior resolution to a referendum to be held on May 17, 2021. The hours for voting at said referendum shall be established by vote at the May 10th, 2021 town meeting. Said hours are recommended by the Board of Selectmen to be 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Signed, Bob, Mike, and Nita. Do I have a motion to approve the call as read?
I motion to approve the call. Oh, go ahead. Need a motion. I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Nita, seconded by Bob. Any further discussion on the call or anything within the call? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 3-0-0. Meeting has been called for next Monday. Until then.
Mike, this will be at the town hall to be signed tomorrow.
Yep, we'll have it printed and ready for your signature tomorrow, and we'll obviously need to get it advertised. So that will happen.
Any particular time, after what time will be available to be signed?
I'll have it ready, I would say by 9 at the latest.
All right.
Sounds good.
Any motion to adjourn?
A motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn.
Motion second by Nita. Further discussion? Those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned at 7:39. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.